We are talking about context menu in Kivy. Context menu is a kind of a model dialog box, and it's a kind of model dialog box or it's a kind of pop-up widget. So, right clicking on a window or a widget, this context menu, a small window comes up. That is a pop-up window comes up. So, it's quite common in any application. So, if I right click, so there are two menus. One menu is in kind of top left of the window that we see, and another is context menu. So depending upon the context, so if I right click at a place on a widget at one client area, then it will pop up a small window, small menu window. That is context menu. So how we can get context menu in Kivy? So in Kivy, as such there is no context menu. So we have to write our own context menu. Now we can just go ahead and we can see that which all are the which all classes are the potential candidate for to become a context menu. So kind of we selected a drop down. So drop down is a kind of a scroll view widget, and drop down has capability to come up and go away. So drop down can kind of aggregate a set of buttons, and we can bring in drop down button whenever we wish, and it can push up. So we'll see that how we can use a drop down widget in Kivy to kind of emulate similar to a context menu. So that is the idea that the problem with the drop down is that it needs a parent like a button or something like that. So like if I click on the button, then it would bring the drop down widget below it, and if I click it back, then it should just vanish. So drop down kind of it makes a parent on the fly like a button as a parent, and removes the parent on the fly when it goes away. So it has very peculiar nature of drop down widget in Kivy. So with that nature of the drop down, so we see that if I have a widget, kind of root widget, a root window, and clicking here and there, how we can manage a parent button and then drop down widget, and to kind of to simulate a situation of a context menu. So this is one part. Another part is, since it is a context menu, so there should be an option for kind of dynamic menu count in the context menu. Like if I have a context menu, if I click on somewhere in the on a window, and it brings a drop down, it brings a context menu with the four sub menus, and if I click somewhere else on the window, so context is changing. Some part in the window context 1 and some part of the window context 2. So in two different contexts or in n different contexts, how we can have n different kind of context menus, some context menu sub-menus. So one is bringing the context menu, and second is it should be really a context menu. Means clicking here and there should change the context menu items. So both will see that how it's possible in Kivy. Context menu in Kivy. So we'll proceed on desktop. This is Linux Mint. Okay, so first we'll see the introduction part. Okay, so what is context menu? So context menu provides menu at cursor point once right click. So typically it is available in any application. If we right click, we get a context menu. Context menu not as such available in Kivy. Drop down scroll view widget can be used to this download. So context menu is ready-made pop-up menu available on right click. It's not available in Kivy, and drop down scroll view widget can be used to list down button. So that is the issue here, that how we can adjust another class as a context menu in Kivy. Context menu like, okay. So what is the scenario? Like if I right click, then pop-up should come up and it should contain submenu. Context menu should contain submenu, and context menu is a pop-up menu and close immediately after the selection is made. So this is context menu. So this is context menu. If someone right clicks, then a menu appears. This is context menu. Okay. So like this is a utility which shows the slides. If I right click on this utility, this is context menu. If I click here, this is a context menu. So it says that it closes immediately after the selection is made. So if I make any selection, context menu went away. So that is the context menu. What is the problem? Context menu is not available in Kivy. Another widget needs to be searched and a new design approach is required. So that is the issue. So we'll see the design and solution. So widget class hierarchy is set for appropriate class. So widget is a class through which many derived classes are there. So we can see actually. So this is the architecture of Kivy. Now I'll search for try again. Okay, so I'll search for widget. Okay, nice. So I'll search for widget class. So this is widget class, and nicely we can see that widget class derives from widget base event dispatcher object with UID, and it has so many derived classes. From widget, so many derived classes. In derived classes, we land up in stencil view. This is stencil view. Okay.
So in this stencil view, there is a scroll view, and in scroll view there is a drop down. So this is drop down, scroll view, stencil view. Okay, so drop down, scroll view, stencil view. Stencil view derives from widget. Now we can go and see the drop down class also. Widget base. From widget, stencil view derives and then a scroll view, then finally drop down. So drop down derives from scroll view, then a stencil view, and then finally derives from widget. So drop down has characteristics of context menu. So we'll use drop down. Okay, so this is what we were saying. So drop down is available under scroll view and stencil view. Okay, so from drop down we would derive and we'll have a context menu. Init and open interfaces. So init is a kind of constructor and open interfaces. So whenever we want the context menu, we'll call open. That is the idea. And at the beginning we can instantiate context menu, and it has a signal called onSelect. So onSelect signal is thrown whenever the drop down, finally the drop down is selected. So drop down is a set of buttons, and once button is clicked, and then finally drop down onSelect signal would be raised. Okay. So in use cases, we'll have a video player, and video player will have a context menu open if nothing is there. If video is being played, then open, pause, close would be shown as context menu. And if it is paused, then open, resume, close would be shown. If someone closes the video, it would reach to this stage where clicking right would bring open. So that is the idea. Now we'll proceed with writing the code. Edit mkdir context menu. It's empty. So we'll develop context menu .py. So we'll import Kivy dot require 2.1.0 from Kivy.uix button import button from Kivy uix drop down import drop down. So I think we are done with the import stuff, and we are ready with the class context menu drop down button width height equal to 150 and 40. So this is a constant we will use for the buttons. Def init. So this is the first interface that we want. Self parent slot arg kwarg super context menu self kwarg it is interested in Now we'll have an invisible button. Self dot button equal to button text equal to invisible. So it wouldn't be shown. Size hint equal to none, none. Width equal to self dot button width height 0, whereas height equal to self dot button width height 1. Self dot button dot parent equal to whatever parent will pass. Typically like in our example, so we want right click on video player. So video player would be the parent of the button, and button would become parent of the context menu. I mean the drop down. Self dot button dot opacity equal to 0. Self dot button dot disabled equal to true. Self dot touch equal to, this is the parameter we'll use. If r, so the idea is the interface should be the constructor interface, the parent on which this context menu would be drawn, and slot is on select slot. So on select we'll have a slot. So and on select slot, and arc would be the list of submenus. So if arc is there, then we'll have a common function called push, internal function. There we can just push. We'll see that how we can generate the submenu. And finally we'll bind the self.bind on select to the slot, whatever slot we passed. So slot parent used, arc will push in the next on select. So this is init interface. Now we'll have internal function push, def push, self arg. Now idea is if we want to create a submenu, then we can create directly. But idea is that we should be reusing the, like if I click on the context menu, then every time we cannot delete all the submenus previously created and create from the fresh. So whatever we had earlier, we can override, and if it is if the current submenu current context menu length is more, then we can have new. Otherwise, if it is subset, then we can override and rest we can hide. So that is the concept we will follow. So for count I in enumerate arg if len self dot container dot children dot count self dot container dot children -1 minus count dot text equal to I self dot container dot disabled equal to false. So we are overriding already available context menu. So first time it wouldn't come here. If I mean this is the code. Okay. So length of the self-container children is greater than count. So if container children is already available, so first time it wouldn't come. After that it will start coming. Self dot children minus 1 minus count, opacity equal to 1, minus 1 count dot size, hint y equal to none, self dot container dot children minus 1 minus count dot height equal to self dot button width height 1. So we are overriding text equal to I, disabled equal to false, opacity is 1, size hint none, height we are setting. Okay, so if there is no children, then we have to create now freshly all the buttons. Button equal to button, text equal to I, size hint equal to none, width equal to self dot button width height 0, width height equal to self dot button width height button dot bind on release equal to lambda button select button dot text. Okay, so now there is a new button, text I, size hint equal to none, width is button width height 0, height is button width height 1. Okay, so button we created, button dot bind on release. If button is released, then drop down select is called button dot text, and here if selection is made, then slot is called. Okay, so button dot text is actually it is getting propagated. Self dot add widget, button, so button is getting added. Now if there is some spare sub menu, self dot container dot children 0 to len self dot container dot children len r and len shape children. So whatever is remaining, those guys will meet this phase. I size hint y equal to none, I dot height equal to 0, I dot opacity equal to 0, I dot disabled equal to true. So that is it. So this is the push function. Now we'll have the next interface, that is open. So open is, arc is the set of submenu that need to be opened. So this init we have introduced. On select we have done the binding, and now open will implement. If arg self dot push, so create the submenu, in this case self dot button dot pause. Okay, so the grammar is different. Okay, so this is the grammar that open and open the context menu at this position, and this is the argument self dot, we will rewrite this self dot pause equal to tuple x minus self dot button parent pause count for count x in enumerate okay. So count x in enumerate position, so whatever pause is there, now x minus self button parent pause count. Okay, so this is the way it would come in a kind of a relative manner. If not self dot parent equal to none. So if not self dot parent equal to null. So if someone is opening and this button is already available, this is little kind of complex architecture of drop down. So drop down on a fly, it selects a button on which it drops down, and button becomes the parent, and then this parent has to go away. So if someone is opening again and if parent is not none, then it has to go away first. Dismiss. If parent is not there, then happy to call it context menu self dot open self dot button. So our open function is written. Now we'll have a touchdown. On touchdown, so touchdown is when someone clicks on the mouse, it may be left or right. So if touch dot button equal to right, if not self dot collide point, so if it is not inside it, self dot touch equal to touch, else self dot touch equal to none. Super context menu okay. So return super context menu on touchdown. Okay, so this is the point. If not self, collide point, touch point, pause. Okay. Finally, we'll have on dismiss. So if someone calls dismiss, then it dispatches a signal. So means it throws a signal, and this is the default this slot for it. If self dot touch, then self dot open, self dot touch dot pause, self dot touch equal to none. Okay, so finally we have finished writing the code. So this is the context menu drop down code. So we'll verify it. Okay, so Kivy required 210 and button drop down we import respectively. Now we have the main class. Button width and height we set 150, 40. This is the first interface, parent slot and RKR. We call the base class init, and then we will have a button, invisible button, on which the context menu, drop down menu would actually come. Text is equal to invisible, size hint none, width is equal to self, button width, height 0, height equal to width, height 1. Okay, parent is parent, opacity 0, disable true. Touch will use later. If arg, then self dot push arg, self dot bind on select slot. So push is little gentleman, so that it take care of many things. So for count I in enumerate arg, if len of self container children greater than count, now we have container -1, so it would push in the backside. This is the architecture of children in kind of layouting. This is the way Kivy is. So it pushes in backside. Opacity equal to 1, size hint none, and height equal to it's 1. If this is not the case, no need to override, means we need to create a new, then button text I size hint none, width equal to 0, height equal to 1, and button dot bind on release lambda button select button dot text self dot add widget button. Now for I in self container children 0 to length minus length, so whatever is the rest, so that we are kind of now we have open. If arg is there, then we would push. Self button dot pause. Tuple, so tuple finishes. X minus self button parent pause count. For count X in enumerate pause If not self, parent equal to none, self dot dismiss, else super open cell button. Now in the touchdown, button equal to right. If not self collide point touch pause, touch dot pause. Self dot touch equal to touch, else self touch equal to none, and then we call the default touchdown, and on dismiss if it is touch then open self dot touch dot pause, self dot touch equal to none. So this is the code. Now we'll implement in now we have only one file. Now we want another kind of my video player .py. So this is the testing file as per what. Now we'll have a video player, and that will have a context menu. So as per the discussion now we'll have video player. So we'll import Kivy. Video player. Okay, so we'll import context whatever we have written now from context menu. Import context menu. So we'll quickly write the test class. So this is class my, I'll say my player, my video player derives from video player. Super my video player so we initialize the parent class. Self dot context menu equal to context menu. Now we have self, this is the parent, and slot will be on slot. Depth on touch down self touch. If touch button equal to right, self context menu dot open touch dot pause. Now here we'll actually provide the context what we want. So first is the touch position, and next is the whatever we are looking for. So like open one context menu. If not self dot source, so at this beginning only open would come, else open pause close. If self dot state equal to play, else open. So easy it is in Kivy and Python. Close. We are emulating this. Open in 3 states in context menu. Now we would return super my video player dot self and touch down touch. Now this is the callback for the signal. This signal that we placed in the unit on slot self R. If R is equal to, so now we will have a kind of a file dialog box which would bring the file. So I have a file, okay, called file pop-up. So I'll copy it here. File pop-up. So file pop-up is a ready-made file, and idea of the file pop-up is to show the file chooser box layout, and it has very easy interfaces like get and then slot, get and signal. So if arg 0 equal to file pop-up, so we'll include this. Now we have, now here we'll say from file pop-up import pop-up. File pop-up is not a class, okay. So at the end of the file there is a instantiation. This is the class of Python. It means we can import a class, we can import a ready-made instance also, because everything is an object. So which object we want to import? So we'll import this ready-made file pop-up object. So if arg0 equal to file pop-up, self dot source equal to arg1 0, self dot state equal to play. So this is the code. So we are in slot. So we'll proceed now. L if arg0 equal to self dot context menu if R1 equal to open. Now this is the, if someone clicks on the context menu and if he says open, so this is how it should be handled. File popup dot get self dot onslaught filter. So I want only for MP4 files. So this is the typical use of file popup. So just say file popup get, place the slot name against the signal list, and if anything need to be passed. Now in the slot I have to check with the file popup if callback has come, and then we get back the file name and state equal to, that is my logic. Elif argv1 elif argv1 equal to close self dot state equal to stop, and we'll have a black texture so that it should look like it is closed. So self dot video dot set texture from resource, and we'll have one black file here. So we'll say black.png. Self dot source equal to null. Elif argv1 equal to play or argv1 equal to resume. Self dot state equal to play. Elif argv1 equal to pause. Self dot state equal to pause. Okay, so we'll have app class, then we'll see this function again. Class my video player app derives from app def build self return my video player if name equal to main my video player app dot. So this is the program. We'll copy the black file here. I have in pictures black. So we have this many files. Now we'll see my video player again. So my video player, we have file pop-up, context menu, video player app. So we need to include import sys re. Now parent we are base class we are initializing. Context menu we are initializing self passing the slot. This is the so this guy would be the parent and then the slot. On touchdown, if it is right, then context menu open. So here also I can push the menu options, but since menu options are sub menus are variable, so better we'll push here open touch dot pause, and now open if not self dot search, else open pause close, if state equal to play, else open resume close. Returns my video player self on touchdown touch. Now we'll enter into slot area. So there are two slots, two signals that callback for the two signals would come here. So one is if arg0 equal to file pop-up, self.source is equal to arg10 and self-state equal to play. If arg0 equal to self.context menu, in that case, if arg1 equal to open, then we'll actually open it. File dot get self dot slot, this is the slot, and filters equal to this. L if arg1 equal to close, so someone has to close, state equal to stop, and self dot video set texture from resource black.png, and self dot source equal to, that is empty string. L if arg1 equal to play or arg1 equal to resume. In this case, state would become play. L if arg1 equal to pause, then self dot state equal to pause. So that is the grammar. So these many for the context menu callback, and this is for file pop-up. And then we have an app class, my video player we are instantiating, and finally we are running. So this is the code. Now we'll execute this program since we have written the code. So we'll say, now we'll have a video file. Let's see if it is available. Okay, so we should have a video file to finally bring it up. Okay, so we'll copy this file test.mp4. How big it is? Execute it. Python 3 myvideoplayer.mpy. If len is greater than count, okay, it comes. My video player dot self, it should be comma self. So we'll try again. Oh, it comes. Now we'll check if you can really bring in the context menu. I'm going to right click and it comes. Okay, along with that we are getting red dot. So that is like for multi-touch we have to disable. So we'll have a file called disable multi-touch. So we'll copy it here. Disable multi-touch. And now my video player will add this import disable multi-touch. Okay, so there is nothing great here. It would just go to the config and it would disable the multi-touch. So we'll try again. Try it. Okay, so it is coming, and this is will bring the context menu. Context menu is coming. So if I mask it, kind of like this, okay, and if I mask here also, untouched down onslaught, we can just leave it. Okay, so video player has come again, but if I right click, there is no context. So context menu came because we have a context menu now. Now context menu I can open. So this is a nice file dialog. So inside context menu we'll open this. Okay, so video is being played. So nice it is. Now if I right click here, context menu is coming on top of the video. So I can just say pause. It paused. Now if I right click as per the design, so we saw this stage open. Now we clicked on pause, so it should come to resume now. This is the actual context menu. Menu is changing. It is resume. Menu is changing. So nice it is. So now I can kind of close it. Gone. Now there is only one. So this is what we did. If there is no video, context menu should be only one. One video is playing, this should be context menu. When it is paused, this should be context menu. So context menu is only one. Now I can go ahead and open again. Okay. I say okay. And it started coming. Now if I right click, then it should be different context menu. This is the context. As per the context, sub menus are changing. So I can say pause. Now context menu changed again. Now it is resume. Resume. Pause. Resume. So this is the idea of context menu. So context menu is, in our case, it is a drop down. It has two interfaces and then one signal. Same thing we implemented. Now we can just say close. So now as per the design, if it is closed, then only one context menu should appear. So if I right click, only one. So open it again and it comes. So Idea behind a context menu is that there should be a menu and menu should be variable as per the context. So in Kivy it is possible and we have to, in that case, we have to see the widget hierarchy and we'll implement drop down by subclassing. So that is the idea. Okay.
If you are looking for Kivy or machine learning training, or you are looking for Kivy and machine learning application development, or you are looking for porting your QTQML application to Kivy, or you are looking for 3D OpenGL application development, you can contact us. You can also sponsor our videos. Please do contact.